can we interpret with the time travel going into the future?
This is okay, even if we don't fully understand how it happens.
Jesus also, when he spoke about he will go and spirit will come, it also direct to the event of Pentecost. So, can we interpret with the time travel going into the future from that angle?
Thank you.
Both Old Testament prophecy and also the New Testament Jesus predictive prophecy.
Yeah.
I can go first.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think we get a lot more hung up on time than we need to. I was having a conversation over in the tea break earlier. Said, and this I draw on C.S. Lewis for this. He didn't say it quite like this, but I draw inspiration from some other comments he's made. Let's take the idea of God being a divine author as far a long way. Let's push that metaphor a long way. Okay, if I as an author write a book, this book has characters in. They get up, they live their lives, they do things. Maybe the book maybe one of the characters in the book is a scientist. He measures things and he finds the regularity of gravity. He looks at his watch and it's 4:15. And 3 pages later, he looks at his watch and it's 6:30. In the book, time has passed. In the book, he has done things. He has created things. In the book, there are physical laws. Now, if he asks the question, when was this book written? Right? The answer to that question within the book really doesn't have any meaning, right? Because I can, in my narrative story, I can write it in any order I want. I am intimately present in every single moment of his life, exactly because I penned it. I may not have penned it in the order that he experiences in the book, but if the guy in the book asks, where is the author? I've looked from page 1 to page 204 and I haven't seen the author once, he's missed the point, right? The author, one, has a mode of existence very different to his own. 2, has an engagement with his mode of existence beyond what he can comprehend, lives in a space that he cannot comprehend, and is very present and able to move freely back and forth, right? The author doesn't say, oh, I can't get to page 204 because I haven't read page 127 yet. No, right? So if the guy in the book says, can the author time travel? And having reached page 250, can they go back to page 107? Well, the answer is trivially yes, and it doesn't involve having to work out the physics of time travel. It involves the author having a very different mode of existence to the character.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, let me just put another way of thinking about it. And I think Mike's right. Actually, when it comes to time, we can get too caught up on it. And actually what we've got is numbers of different ways of saying this is okay, even if we don't fully understand how it happens. I'm reading in my morning Bible readings, Jeremiah at the moment. And I was reading this morning his prophecies about the fall of Jerusalem, the Babylonian exile. And 2 things struck me about Jeremiah. First of all, he was a pretty good politician. I mean, he understood really where the course of history was going. And he'd spent his time with kings and all the rest of it. And you could see, even without a prophetic leaping forward in time, where things were going. The second thing is that Jeremiah, with other prophets, and particularly Jesus, have this intimacy of relationship with the Lord. Now, let me trivialize this. When my wife and I go shopping, we go to a shopping mall or a supermarket. And because I don't want to follow her around all of the time, she goes off in one direction and I go off in the other direction. I always finish my shopping before hers. And normally I've forgotten to bring my phone or all the rest of it. but I pretty much know after 30 years of marriage which shop she's going to be in. I know where I'm supposed to go. Now, it seems to me that Jesus so intimately aware of where the Father was working, and the prophets so intimately aware of what God was doing, you can have a sense of knowing where this is going. Now, that, I think, again, remember what we talked about when we talked about providence, that actually God works in lots of different ways. None of these ways we're saying is the only way that God works, or the only model to understand how God works. But I do think that lots of models, all at the same time, are really helpful to this. As long as we don't absolutize one of those models and say this is the only way it works.